kidnap the man.
Hot girl, hot like a pepper. 4 seasons strong, me not care about the weather. If a girl try distance, she don't know better. Talk about original, she say do it better. Me a trendsetter, who them try for this? T-Dot, born and raised, full of loaded clips. Call me miss, like a teacher, you have to learn this. On the road, me learn, say enough duplicates. What a bitch, oh she coulda bright it. 7 years strong, money grow up on me. Me try say, how them feel war me.
Welcome to the music corner, Chizzy Bashment. How are you, my girl? I love when you see people I know. It's so easier, you know? Like, there's no ice to be broken, right? It's like, I know. So, you know, persons maybe one day now, oh, she has that. She always like, she know everybody. Well, I know Chizzy Bashment through Stages Canada, right? I met her. Spend 3 whole days, feel like more days though, Chizzy.
I know.
It felt like way more than 3 days, you know, it felt like way more than a weekend. But that's how I met you, and you know, that's how I found out about your music. First time being interviewed, you know, and getting the opportunity to hear your music. And you are talented. You have the little vibes there, you know. She looks, she's very small, people. Chizzy on camera. Like, you would think that Chizzy is this trapped-in young lady. Nope. She's quite size on the stage. You have to think, you have to look twice to say, I open a fitness, that's enough. And when you listen to her lyrics and hear the music, you're hoping to God that that's a grown woman speaking.
Yes, I'm a grown woman. I might be 5'3", but my mighty. Oh,
God, Chizzy never forgot the 5'3" a while ago.
I say it go.
But Chizzy, for persons who don't know who Chizzy Bashment is, how would you introduce yourself to a new crowd?
Yeah, so to a new crowd, I would introduce myself. My name is Chizzy Bashment. My real name is Cheyenne Salmon, and I am an entertainer and also an entrepreneur. And also, I find self-advocacy within myself as well, too. And I'm a person that loves dancehall reggae music. I grew up in it. I've done everything from playing an instrument to dancing, to performing, to singing, all of that stuff. So I am of Jamaican descent. I'm born in Canada. Both my parents are from Jamaica, and very close with my family and friends in Jamaica, and also to the Jamaican culture and heritage. So that is basically a little bit in a nutshell of who Chizzy Bashment is.
So how did you get in music though? You know, me not say, look here, it's almost like every time I meet somebody who they weren't born in Jamaica, but they have Jamaican descent, them always have a certain type of flavor and they can appreciate the reggae music and the dancehall music. But how did you know that, you know what, music is what I'm going to pursue as a career?
So when I was younger, like my mom, she did a very good job at always making sure that we were doing something, right? So if it wasn't dancing, so I used to dance for a festival called Karasaga, where it's kind of like a Caribbean festival, but in a particular district of the city of Mississauga. And I used to dance and, you know, be a part of that as well too. And then I got into dancing, professional dance hall and hip hop dancing.
Nice.
Unfortunately, you know, with injuries and all that stuff, I kind of had to like move back from the dancing aspect of it and really focus on the performing aspect of it. So even while I was in that transition period,
I was about to ask, like, how did you transition from dancing to performing, from dancing to DJing and singing?
Yeah, so from dancing, like, I feel like when you perform as a dancer in comparison to as a singer, sing J, DJ, whatever you want to call it,
right?
It's different, right? When I was dancing, I had to focus on making sure that my steps and my arm movements and my head movement and everything was like unison with the rest of my group members.
Yeah.
But now performing by myself, it's literally me by myself, right? So that transition period, it was a bit questioning for me because I didn't know if I would have the support. I didn't know if people were ready to see me in that platform.
Right.
See me transform from a dancer to an entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
But fortunately for me, people supported that vibe, and they like to see it, and they like the music. Um,
Nice.
and then my musical background, like singing in church and singing in competitions and stuff like that. It's been a while since I've actually focused on the singing component.
Right, because I know for the most part, when I hear your music, it's more of a DJ kind of flow to it.
Exactly. Exactly. And with the performing aspect, I was actually introduced to rapping before actually doing dancehall music.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So
So
that was the way I was kind of,
you got
putting,
the flow.
yeah, with the flow and creative writing as well too, because I used to do poetry like a lot of people do not know that. So when people
Right,
say, yo girl, how you come up with them lyrics there, it's the poetry, right?
right, right.
It's being able to amalgamate all those skills and then develop like songs.
So in essence, being being a dancer, a writer, a poet, really and truly will make you a really good artist. You
Mm-hmm.
know, having because then you have the performance part down, you know, the physical, get your groove dance kind of vibe,
Yeah,
and
the
then now you
jiggle up
have yeah,
business.
and then you have the writing. What I want to know, you know, when you realize that, hey, you know what, dancing is not going to be a thing for me. You know, it's not gonna be professional for me because of injury and all of that. And you decided that okay, I know that I have the talent to sing and to DJ, so I am going to maneuver into that space. And when you finally, you know, did something to solidify that this is what I am going to be doing for the rest of my life, what was the reaction when you dropped your first music? What was the reaction of you're already fan? Because you always have a one of the things that I always tell artists is that you always have a fan base.
Mm,
Every artist, no matter if you think them whack, no matter if you think them whatever, they have a fan base. So what was
mm.
the reaction of your fan base that you already had when you dropped your first song? And what was the name of your first song?
So the name of the first song, it was a collaboration called Money We Are Pre, and it's with another Toronto Jamaican Canadian artist by the name
Oh,
of
nice. Mm-hmm.
and it was on the Sprite rhythm. So it
Oh,
wasn't an official thing, but
yeah.
we got the rhythm and we went on it. And when we collaborated, like we sent out a broadcast message and told everybody, come to the video shoot. And I kid you not, the place was packed.
Pa.
So at that moment is when I realized, when I was transitioning from being a dancer to now being a performer,
Yeah.
that regardless, as long as people gravitate towards me and towards what I'm doing, the
Yeah.
fans will be there and the liking will be there, and they'll be able to share that experience forever. Because that video shoot, I'm telling you, man, it honestly, it didn't even feel like it was staged. It just felt like a party.
Right. So and that's when you're like, okay, I have
This
something.
I go on.
Something can go on.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because that's the girl, you know, people turn up for a music video and it's like, all right then, it's a I'm guys, you know, so we can go on with the
Mm.
music. So you did the Money Me a Pre, right? Uh what would you say? How did you develop your own style? Every artist have a style, and I'm not just talking like your physical style, but your musical style, your lyrics,
Mm.
your content, and the type of flow that you have. How did you develop that?
So with developing my flow, first of all, like just listening to music and all different genres, you're influenced like automatically depending on what type of genre or what type of music you listen to. So I can listen to something as old as like Frankie Paul and Junior Biles and Barris, and the list goes
Yeah,
on. And
yeah.
then the female artists, them like Patra and
Yeah.
latest and Tanya
First of all,
Stephens,
stick a pin with the
right?
mantra because you know that you all have a wait name again, man.
Lot of mercy.
Obviously, a lot of mercy. People, if you listen to a lot of mercy, it's like a patriot after that, I want. And it really does, like the flow is sick, you know. I genuinely thought that that song should have gotten mainstream attention because of the flow, because of the whole vibe. I wish, probably, and you know what? It's not too late, because the one thing with music, music can't steal. That's what
Exactly.
I've learned since I've been in this business. And it's like you can get in touch with Patra and say, yo, Patra, this is the remix paying homage to you and your legacy and what you have done and how you have paved the way for me. I genuinely believe that if there's no hateration in them, I know some people are right.
Oh
I,
gosh, yeah, we know. We
I
know.
genuinely believe that she would appreciate it. I think it is thick. I think that the flow is ridiculous. I think that the homage being paid
Thank
to her
you.
is awesome. And it's just a whole vibe. When you hear it, you're ready for break out. It's a whole vibe. I tell
The
you.
thing for me, like with dancehall music, dancehall and reggae music combined, like when I think about like lyrical content,
Yes.
think about something that's memorable. So that's why like sometimes I get writer's block when I decide to write on top of a rhythm, because sometimes I realize that the lyrics that I have is not for that rhythm,
True. Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to say things that people can memorize and it's
Yes.
for them,
Yeah.
right? And also with writing, I learned very, very quick. This is probably in my earlier stages that, like I need to start writing where like I can talk about something that's slack, or I can talk about something that's meaningful.
Right.
And has a little bit of purpose or whatever. I can talk about something that's fun, or I can talk about something that's serious. But my lyrical content
Mm-hmm. It
needs
must.
to stick to my
Yeah.
listeners,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's why with writing now, like if it doesn't stick, I don't want to release it. The amount of music that I'm sitting on, the
Yeah.
amount of books of lyrics that I have,
Right.
music that I did not release because I'm not personally satisfied.
Right.
I
And
really
I
want my
totally, yeah, I get that. And that's when you know that this is not just, it's not just like, oh, I want to be an artist to be popular and make money, but it's, I'm an artist. I take my craft seriously. I respect those who respect my craft and appreciate my work. So
exactly.
therefore, you're going to be putting out like 100% and your best work for people.
Mhm.
I think that is very important, and I can appreciate artists like that. So many a times, persons see artists and be like, oh, them not have no only for tuner, they're not putting out a whole lot of music. But I believe that if you are an upcoming artist and you're really trying to make your mark and make that stamp in the industry, you want to put out quality production.
Took
That
the
is
words right out of
important.
my mouth. Say it
Quality
again for the people that in the
production.
back. Say
Yeah,
it again.
quality production over
Mm-hmm.
anything else, over all the hype. Because guess what? The right person is going to hear it and be like, yo, this shot. Because there's so many talented artists that
Mm-hmm.
is right now sitting down on music and just really perfecting their art, and I think that it is important, especially if you are trying to get in this business, go further and be famous or just be successful in your endeavor. You want to put
Mm-hmm.
out quality. My sister said something to me and it has stuck with me. If you have quality, you can charge anything.
Exactly.
Once there's quality in your product or your service, you charge anything. And that's
And that is the main reason why, like, before when I was younger and just starting, like, I just kept putting out. Even if I wasn't satisfied with it, I just
yeah.
kept kept putting out. And then I stopped myself and I said, you know what? If I want to be sustainable with the music that I'm producing, then I need
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that at all times I'm giving 100% and it's quality. If I feel like it's an 80 minute, put it out. You guys
Yeah.
are hearing about it
Yeah.
at all. It has to be like 100% because I can't be selfish and say that I'm doing the music for myself. I have
Right.
a fan base and I have audience, and now especially in 2020, I'm
Mm-hmm.
realizing that I have fans that are international. My music is going to Japan. My music
Right.
is going to other Caribbean islands such as
Right.
Trinidad.
Yeah.
My music is in the UK. I have people DMing me from the United States, and it's a beautiful thing.
Right.
So want to let them down by putting out quality that is not stellar.
Exactly. And that is important. Before I go into your new single, Anytime, as a female artist, the other day a female artist reached out to me and she was asking me to do a show because that the music corner is new, just trying to develop my own content and my own platform right now. And she said to me, early in the morning, me get a message from her on Instagram, say you must know that it was on her mind. And she said to me, hey, Jody, I really think that you should interview more female artists, like get more female artists and have more discussion with female artists
Mm-hmm.
to really give them that platform and to really give them a voice to share their difficulties in
Mm-hmm.
the music industry and trying to maneuver in a male dominated, still over a decade, a male dominated industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to find out from you, Chizzy, if you, since pursuing your music, if you have any at all have ever had that uncomfortable experience as a female artist in this
Mm-hmm.
industry, whether it's with a producer, whether you're trying to do a collab with an artist, and they have, them always take it to another level. I can tell you stories upon stories with me,
Oh
but
gosh, girl.
I'm not trying to be an artist, so you must understand. So I think I can identify with female artists, but what have been your experience, being a female in this industry?
Oh gosh. So being a female in this industry, honestly, like sometimes it leaves you feeling uncomfortable, but I always see that in the tunnel of blackness is a dimmer light at the end of it, right? But I am not going to intentionally put myself in a compromising position in order to boss.
Right.
To boss. You
Yeah.
understand? I do it. I'm in a business.
Yeah.
Business who did it before me. I'm in a
Yeah.
business who do it after me. I do it.
Yeah.
I,
I
ra- I just know. So I had an experience where I was introduced to a new studio because I was sourcing for a studio that that was close and convenient to all my other endeavors. And I found one. Met somebody very talented individual, but their characteristics in terms of how they deal with female artists was like
mhm. It's a
no.
no go, right?
So for this meet and greet, we basically talked about like it's kind of like a business plan, like where do I see myself, what
Yeah.
type of items am I interested in, etc., etc. So long story short, the day was being drawn out, and I'm just like, yo, I would do this, man, yeah. But at the same time, I didn't want to leave because I didn't want to miss out on the opportunity, right? So I'm just like, yo, I would do this, man, yeah. Like the time I get late, me want got me whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked the individual, like, like where do we go from here? And he just kept prolonging it. But then I realized something. The reason why they continue to want it to go on late is because they wanted me to quote unquote sleep over.
Oh, I mean, that's
Right?
it.
Sleep over. Let's talk about it. Let's get the business done. And when I seen that it reached a particular time, I said, honestly, thank you for the opportunity. However, like I need to go.
Right.
Discuss matters afterwards, but I need to go.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
left. And after that, I never communicated with that individual again.
Mm-hmm.
Blocked everything, blocked them off from my social media, my WhatsApp, everything, and not even
Yeah.
having to now. Right? That was one experience. Another experience, I don't know what it is with like stage shows, but you would think that there would be more chivalry when it comes to
Girl.
women artists and all them thing there,
Oh, girl.
right? Like I went to a showcase and it's like I don't know. Some people they feel some type of way about going first or going
Yeah,
in
like
last.
there's this big uproar whether or not you're gonna go. They don't want to go first, but then they don't want to go dead last. So, it's like if you go first, then you're not a good artist, you're not a talented artist, which is crap, but that's just my perspective.
Yeah, so I was on a showcase where I got the itinerary of who's supposed to go when, but when I got to the show, it was changed. Right?
Oh.
And because persons didn't necessarily, quote unquote, know who I was, which is fine. I know that some people are not going to know me off the bat and some people are going to get to know me and whatever the case may be. A life, right? I can't get mad at that. But it's just about the principle, right?
Yeah.
If you give me something and this is the blueprint, you tell me you're going to build a house and then you build a building, I'm going to be upset about that because I wasn't expecting the building. I was expecting the house.
Yeah.
So I still went and performed and did my thing because at the end of the day, I'm an entertainer first and I take my professionalism very seriously.
Yeah.
In this male-dominated society, how I combat that, I always come off with professionalism. The minute you try to, like, I will never get into a conversation with a DJ, a producer, a promoter, whatever their talent may be or their career may be, and start flirting with them.
No.
Just my way. Absolutely not, because it's going to set up that preconceived notion
and they're
that
gonna
you are and you're easy.
Yeah.
And me, I wasn't brought up that way. I'm the only woman in my household. Apart from my mother, I'm the only woman in my household, right?
Yeah.
So it's like there's certain principles and values that I uphold as a female artist. So like I mentioned before, I'm in a business who do it before me or after me, I'm not for boss.
Yeah.
That.
And that's the thing, that's the pressure, especially as a female, because I think some females believe like, yo, you know, especially if there's this desperation and then there's nothing else to fall back on, and you feel as though, oh, it's only music, and me need for bus because me need a dollar in my pocket, me need to make it on a stage show because me need a dollar in my pocket, and then you compromise your character, you know, and it just take one person. Sometimes there are a lot of persons that have like bad stuff to say about female, and when you if you really check the levels, I just one probably producer she slept with, and them take it spread it like say, you know, every single producer she sleep with. But that's just as a female, which is unfair. One wrong move and you are labeled as this person in the industry. And that's why me I'm a miserable, serious person where, you know, you don't know when you see me, if me not talking and no offer, they really know if you must approach me or not. And I see it all the time. It's like I wonder if she can be approached or not. And I keep it that way because you have to set some precedent for yourself to say, listen, you don't have to like me. It's okay. If you won't help me, and I always say that don't make nobody fool they like say, oh, if it's not them, it can't not go so. You understand me? So as a female artist, you might book up on a really popular producer or a really popular artist that, you know, if a collaboration with them is done, it would be amazing. But they're asking you to compromise who you are as a person, run them with, because there's another opportunity, a bigger one waiting for you. Run them. Me can't tell anybody that.
And that's how I feel as well too. And you know what? It's more empowering for me to know that I was strong enough to say no.
Yeah.
And I didn't go for the little carrot dingling over my head, because like I think about my future, and I also do think about, like, you know, people like the community, the dancehall community. Once you really think about it, it's very small. So
exactly.
all of this is going to be happening.
You know what, Chizzy? You will think that, oh, I'm not popular. So even if whatever, and then too, you go somewhere and it's like, oh, and she named Chizzy. I say, weird. Oh, you know me. I'm not popular. So you'd be surprised. You would be surprised who have your name in their mouth at this very moment.
Exactly.
You'd be surprised who have your name. Them one like to them that know who you is, you know. Them one like them know, but them know. Make one wrong move and see them know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I always need to keep it's not that I'm trying to keep a clean persona. I'm just being me genuinely. If you ask my friends, my colleagues, my coworker, like, this is basically who I am.
Right. And nothing is what, listen, if you're not squeaky clean and you want to be squeaky clean, go ahead. try it. Nobody's perfect, and we're not discriminating against anybody that did something in the past or whatever. Stuff
Right.
happens, and it's life, and you work with it. But don't I just don't feel the need to compromise who I
Yeah,
am as
me
a
either.
person, especially as a female. And since there's just a handful of us here trying to infiltrate this industry in a positive way, don't make it any harder on yourself than it is right now.
Mhm.
Chizzy, but I'll play the song anytime. May I play it first before me even ask you what was going through your mind when you wrote this song?
I'm not saying I got asked that, but no.
So people, this is a new track from Chizzy Bashment called Anytime. Huh? A piece of excitement. Me, I go right. You are gonna live up inside of me. I should be bouncing again. Instead of fire, but you give me the key for my heart unlocked. And when you touch me, the feeling, oh, I make the engine stop. No, when we're there on the highway, left me not left, you give me the long way. Push your pedal to my body, now I want get some muscle control. Anytime you send me out to ride it, you are the love up inside it. Anytime you send me out to ride it, you are the live up inside of me. Anytime you send me out to ride it, you
Oy,
are the love up inside of me. Anytime you send me
oy.
out to ride it, you are the live up inside of me. Green light non-stop. You love me tight when I'm a stop drop. Cover me body like a new drop top. And squeeze up me chest like you a pumpkin. Boom boom, rev out me body like a Yamaha. Yes, Chizzy, anytime. Explain it, please, and thanks to my
All right.
listeners.
So
Please.
first and foremost, big shout outs to Slay Bad Music and Team Triple Work Music Group. They
Awesome.
are the ones that basically they heard my music and they said, you know what, try out this with them. Unfortunately, because of my recording circumstances, I wasn't able to get on the compilation, so we released it as a single.
Okay.
When I heard the instrumental, it just brought me back. It just made me feel like a little bit excited. And it's like,
Oh,
why?
that's right. That's a perfect word to use, Chizzy. Excited is correct.
Excited, yeah. You know, you ever get a feeling where it's just like you just want to
Mhm.
do this
That.
thing right now because you're with your companion or you're looking
Yes.
or whatever.
Been
So
years, but I understand. You know what you're
so
talking
I'm trying to keep it squeaky clean for the local people them that might watch this but for themselves.
about.
But yeah, just thinking about like, you know, the thrill of being with the companion, being with the significant other, and you know that energy that they give you. So I like to when I like to write with analogies, and I was thinking about like, you know, the 1990s, I forgot what year, but Joyride, you know, taking a
Yeah.
ride.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that and how they compared like actually driving and a joyride to an experience
Right. Right.
about when I developed anytime. If you listen to the second verse, is it second the second verse or yeah, I think it's the second verse or like the little third snippet of the third verse.
Yeah.
I reference to Jamaican gas stations.
Yes.
Send a text when you reach Texaco.
Yes.
Cool cases my body control. Tally how much time me give you the total and show up on the pump to my gas tank for. Yeah,
Yes.
right? So that's what I was
Listen,
thinking about. I like writing with analogies. I like
right.
subliminals. I like making people think. That's just me when I write.
Especially for persons who can appreciate music. Because mental electricity, there are some people that generally just listen to the music for rhythm, but this had content, and you're like, I'll make sure I go on Safa when you listen to it. That's
Exactly.
your son's like, all right, Chizzy, you're misbehaving. Okay, we
It's
get
crazy
it
because I
clear.
think out of well, I've done a couple of quote unquote slack songs before, and I think this one in particular, it makes me blush like a lot.
Live up inside of me alone should make anybody blush because because when I played it first, I was like, Lamb of God, why didn't I listen? Because I just know your song is going to be good. So I just literally just played it and I was like, Jesus, no, I can't play this on the
You
radio.
see?
No, you're gonna get in problem. And that's one of the
Right?
reasons why I've
Gotta
just
get
like,
hot.
yes,
Woo-hoo.
and that's why one of the reasons I was like, you know what, create your own platform so you can have that content where persons can just share their music, no editing, no nothing, just real raw conversation and talk about the music, right?
Mhm.
So Chizzy, how can the people then find you?
So, folks, right now you can find me on Facebook, The Real Chizzy Bashment. You can find me on Twitter at Chizzy Bashment. And on Instagram, at underscore Chizzy Bashment underscore. So right now, those are the platforms that you can find me. If you're trying to stream or purchase my music,
Yeah.
I on a whole bunch of platforms. There's Google Play, there's Spotify, there's iTunes, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, the list goes on. So if you Google me, it should generate a list of applications where you can source my music, and yeah, that's just about it.
Awesome. Chizzy, thank you so much for your time,
Thanks for
girl. Thank you for
having
being you
me.
are most welcome. Thank you for being a part of the Music Corner with me, your girl, Queen JoJo. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and it's always a pleasure hearing your music and hearing your story. And
Thank you.
there's absolutely no doubt in my mind, Chizzy, that I'm going to be hearing more about you and that you're going to so big like a baby kite.
Well, I'm currently working on new music during these times. Honestly, like with everything that's happening in the world, sometimes you need to take like a mental break and just be a part of that
Girl,
moment
preach,
before you can even indulge back into
preach,
the music of it.
preach.
So you know what? Like honestly, big up to everybody that's doing the good works around
Yeah.
the world globally, because it's not hard to wake up every day and see so much things happening on the news, happening on the TV,
Mm-hmm.
and still you find that energy to propel yourself. So Queen Jojo, big up yourself as well too, you know. You're
Yeah.
in a male dominated industry, so
Yeah, girl.
going big up to the musical corner, big up Queen Jojo, big
Thank
up
you.
here, come like it.
Eh,
You
eh.
know, good.
So make sure to tell the people them it's Friday 10 a.m. on my YouTube Queen Jojo and on Queen Jojo Radio on Zeno.fm. 10 a.m.
Yes, tune
They
in,
can hear all about Chizzy Bashment and her music anytime, our new single anytime. Make sure to go stream it,
stream
listen
it,
to it,
download it.
support new artists, especially the talented ones. People, remember I tell
Big
you that.
facts.